Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Mixer Review. And as you know, when you've clicked on this video, we're mixing up RdaJunkie today. So first of all, just a massive shout out to Fresh03 for letting us run this in the slot right after his show. That's been a lot of support, and the channel has done very well because of that. So thank you very much. And also, please go and check out the description below. In this video, you'll find a couple of other channels that I personally follow that you also potentially need to follow. But let's get back to RdaJunkie, and I'll kick off the show by talking about APB. Now, APB stands for apple, pomegranate, and then blueberry or bilberry. Could be either one of those two. So let me just read the description of this recipe. I was at my local B&M the other day, and the guy was raving about this juice. It was apple, pomegranate, and blueberry. So it's obviously for blueberry, excuse me. Weirdest combo I'd heard of, but I was interested. I took a few pulls of his. It was surprisingly good, not $20 for 30 ml good, but good. So I went home, and this is the first thing I threw together. It is very pleasant as a shake and vape. And I agree with that. It's, you can shake and vape this one. The bilberry and blueberry give a nice, vibrant blueberry. Pomegranate is there, and well, the apple is there too. This is one of the hottest juices I've ever had to make notes on because everything blends together so well it becomes hard to even differentiate the flavors. So when I read that, I was immediately interested because I like, like a 3-fruit recipe that transcends into something new, like a new fruit, something a little bit more exotic. I was also interested to mix this up because I wanted to look, I'm very interested in blueberries lately. So I want to look at what combination of blueberries, is out there. And of course, he's using here bilberry and blueberry. But I'll go through the recipe. 1% FA apple Fuji, 0.5 FA bilberry, 3% Flavor West blueberry, 2% TFA pomegranate, and 0.5% TFA sweetener. Okay. So yeah, I was interested for the blueberries, and I was interested to see how this recipe transcends. The bilberry and blueberry combination gives you a nice exotic berry taste. And then what I felt the pomegranate does, it offsets it. It's a little bit sharper and sweet, and it kind of sets that blueberry a little bit. So, I'm going to take a shot in the dark. And if Emily, ML Nikon is in the chat, she needs to go and check out this recipe. I know that she used in one of her most popular recipes, she used TFA pomegranate as well. It's a lovely pomegranate, as far as, word goes on the street about it. And she likes it as well. So I think, she needs to go and check this one out. I found that the vape is a little bit lighter. Okay. So I could imagine, people who like fruity vapes, and berries, specifically blueberry, would appreciate something like this. This is more of like a all-day vape kind of style recipe where it's not so in your face blueberry, or any fruit for that kind of for that reason. So my experience is it's smooth. The fruit definitely transcends, but the fruit that transcends is the blueberry and the pomegranate. Those two, are married together in this recipe. So I'm getting blueberry in front, and then, the pomegranate at the end, that sweetness from the pomegranate. So I agree with what he said in the description about that. However, the Fuji apple is a little bit lost in this recipe. So, if the Fuji apple was used in this recipe just to sweeten the fruits up, and the sweetener was kind of dropped, I would totally understand that. But it's used over here as one, of the fruits, but it's a little bit lost. I can't really taste it. That could be a personal thing as well. I actually went to go and buy a brand new Fuji apple to see if it's just that Fuji apple that I can't taste. in recipes, or if it's, you know, just something personally with me, but I'm not really tasting the apple that much here. So yeah, you know, I'm at about a 3.5 out of 5 for this recipe. You know, it was close. It was between, you know, it was almost at a 4 out of 5 or 3.5. But yeah, I'm going to be finishing the sample. You can see over here, this is the sample. So I've mixed up about 25 mils of this, and I'm pretty much almost done. So I spent some time with this. So yeah, props. I think there's definitely something, you know, I think RdaJunkie is onto something here with this pairing of blueberry and pomegranate. So yeah, props for that. Rudy, what did you mix up?
Well, I mixed up a couple. My favorites of the batch that I tried with the concentrates that I had was lava cream. Lava cream is a very indulgent and very sweet and chocolatey dessert vape. So he describes it as, well, he intros this as liquid bar and is slowly becoming my favorite flavor house. The recipe shows exactly why. Super simple and good off the shake, rich, creamy chocolate lava cake. So what he uses is the liquid barn lava cake as the main euro here. It's the main component, and that sets the entire vape. Lava cake on its own dominates quite severely. It's very chocolate heavy, nice, rich, dark chocolate, and it needs to be tamed down a bit for it not to overpower completely. So what he's done here cleverly is just to add a few additions, some creams to cut that the heaviness of the chocolate to make it into more of a chocolate sauce, like a lava cream. So the lava cake is a heavy sponge pudding almost, and inside there's melted chocolate. So when you bake it and comes and you cut it open, the lava, the chocolate sauce melts out. So that flavor emulates the eating experience very well, but it is very, very, very chocolate heavy. So what is done here is the topping is to thin it down a bit with liquid barn vanilla ice cream at 2%. And that is my go-to ice cream at the moment, that I use. I'm a pepper taster, so I can't use the TPA or TFA vanilla bean ice cream. And I prefer the liquid barn version. And it does a very good job here just to cut through that the bitterness and the harshness of the chocolate. And then a bit of 1% of liquid barn Vienna cream. Not sure whether Vienna cream from liquid barn is sacrilege. I think it can be subbed for any other Vienna cream. It doesn't add enough for it to be a main player. At 1%, it's just there as an additional cream to thin down the chocolate sauce. It then calls for 0.25% of cap super sweet. I omitted that because I find the other ingredients sweet enough, and I classically don't mix with any sweetener. That's just my preference. So this is a very good vape. I finished this sample in literally a day and remixed it. I dropped the lava cake. I found the 5% to be too high, and it's very dominant, the chocolate. So I cut it down all the way to 2.5, and then left the ice cream and the Vienna cream, the vanilla ice cream and the Vienna cream as it is. And what you then get is a nice, almost a chocolate sauce. The cake element is hardly there, but it has that very good chocolate base. And it can be used for anything. I mean, this lava cake is a magical ingredient. You can add it to create a nice milkshake. You can add it as a base for a berry pie or a berry cake type of effect. So it's a very good recipe, superb recipe, 100%, no problem with it. Just for personal preference, drop the lava cake a little bit if you don't want it too chocolate heavy, but very well done. Brilliant recipe from my side. Good.
So I also did the APB, and your notes on it there was pretty spot on. I agree with him on where he says this is one of the hardest juices I've ever had to make notes on, because everything blends together so well it becomes hard to differentiate between the flavors. Now I agree with that definitely, especially the longer it steeps. Yeah, let's say by about 5 or 6 days, then that blends becomes much more prominent, and you lose a lot of the flavors in terms of separating or seeing them as separate notes. The blueberry, the blueberry and bilberry is definitely part of the profile, as well as the pomegranate. And for me, normally the pomegranate is a bit of a stronger type of concentrate, and you need to really do a bit of trickery to get it not to overwhelm the rest of the mix. In this case, the blueberry bilberry combination gives me a blueberry or berry profile on the inhale, and then I get the pomegranate from there and on the exhale. I think the blending was done here by the Fuji apple, because that's generally what I use it for in my fruits. For that reason, and at the percentage it's at, which is 1%, I feel that it's not really apple forward to the point where you notice there's apple in it. This Fuji apple in here does blending or emulsifying between the berries and the pomegranate for me. And for that reason, it's a bit to the back. Now, when I read it, I expected a bit more apple forward on it. It's not bad in any way. It's just the way that the Fuji apple was used here, and specifically Fuji apple. I mean, if it possibly was aiming for more apple profile, then I would recommend maybe adding another apple as a combination with the Fuji apple, or pushing the Fuji up a bit, possibly to about 2%, and trying it from there. That's just my personal preference. I love the apple Fuji, and I can actually taste it, so I use it a lot. The only note I have on it is also that the longer the steep, the more the flavors blend, which ends up giving me a more pomegranate forward juice in the end. Especially from about day 3, I started noticing, for me, it's dominating on the pomegranate taste. The blueberry is still there, especially on the inhale, but about halfway in from the inhale and the exhale, there's a lot of pomegranate for me, leaving that pomegranate aftertaste as well. Now, for once, I would be on Rudy's opinion with sweetener, and I'm never really on the same opinion as him with sweetener. I love sweetener in all my juices, but in this case, I feel because of the pomegranate and the combination of the blending done by the Fuji apple, the sweetener in this case for me was a bit too much. Not the sweetener on its own, but the way the sweetener builds on the already sweetness or sweet profile of the pomegranate. It's not the fault of the sweetener, really. It's just the way that pomegranate works for me in a juice. It's already very sweet. Not in a sweetener type of way. It's just a very intense flavor, which to me then relates to a sweet, very sweet candy type of pomegranate. Yeah. It's a good juice. Sorry, what you want to say, Rudy? It's a very good juice for me. I would also definitely finish my sample. I mixed up a 50 ml. I don't know if you can see. So there's a little bit left. I'll probably finish this, and I will definitely try this again. But for my personal preference, also I would amend it, add a little bit more apple, and drop the sweetener out. I would possibly personally play with the pomegranate as well, but that's just my taste. So all in all, it was a good juice. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cool. So I mixed up a raspberry cheesecake. So I'll just quickly go through, the recipe notes or the description. Recipe inspiration came from a Subway raspberry cheesecake cookie. If a cookie and Inawera biscuit give you a nice buttery crunch for the crust, obviously New York cheesecake is where the cheesecake comes in, nice and fluffy. Strawberry ripe and sweet strawberry play so nice together. They pick each other up and in all the ways necessary to give you a nice, sweet, bright raspberry flavor. 4:2 ratio is perfect. Mix and enjoy. The ingredients is 1% Inawera biscuit, 2% FA cookie, 4% New York cheesecake, 2% TFA raspberry sweet, 4% strawberry ripe, and 0.5% TFA sweetener. Okay, so let's start with the crust. I agree with the choices of the crust. It's a nice buttery crust. It's almost a tad soggy, but that's what I would expect from a cheesecake. Okay. However, I feel the cookie base needs to be pulled back a tad, not yanked back, because if you yank it back, you're going to hurt this recipe, right? So just slightly pull it back. I like the New York cheesecake. It's up there. It's the second favorite cheesecake on the top 100 on ATFs, and that has to count for something. It's used at 4% here. But what I really want to rave about is the raspberry goo on top. It's bang on. It's wow. I'm straight up learning here. I've got raspberry or sweet raspberry. I haven't used it much, but I'm also interested in that profile lately. And, you know, I think this is potentially something that I might steal and use in another recipe because it's that good. You know, so I'm definitely getting that gooey experience from it. So if I look at the recipe holistically, I get a nice layered experience here. So the raspberry is on my palates. On the XL, I get that, you know, that crust, that cookie. You know, the New York cheesecake is just not really, you know, coming through because I think the cookie is a little bit too, how can I say, used too high here. But I am getting a layered experience, which is, you know, something to be proud of here, because, you know, if he pulls that, I can personally just pull it back a little bit and I'll get a nice crust with the cheesecake, you know, as the base notes, and then I'll get that raspberry sweet on top of my palate, and that will give me a beautiful layered experience. So, you know, 100% props for that. And because of that, you know, I'm going to just straight up give RdaJunkie a fist pump there because that's really cool. So yeah, enjoyed this one. Rudy, have you got more there?
Yeah, I mixed 3 fruits recipes. I've strayed a little bit from my traditional bakeries and tobaccos and needed a bit of fruits in my arsenal. So the first one I did was a Melon Head remix. Melon Head is a remix of the Good Vape stable, and it's a straight mango and melon juice. He created this clone remix match of flavor to the original commercial juice, which I've never tasted. The reason why I chose it is very similar to a recipe that I just released a couple of weeks ago called Tropicana, which is the one with the mango and the melon and the papaya. So this one is a papaya and mango and melon mix. So the base ingredients are pretty similar to the profile that I like. And he does a very good job with this one. So we start off with the main, let's go to the main players, is FA Melon Cantaloupe, which brings the melon part of it, used sparingly at 3%. Problem with melons, sometimes if you fractionally go over the ideal ratio, it leaves a soapiness and it becomes a little bit almost floral, soapy. It's got this funny taste that it develops. So at 3%, melon cantaloupe is perfect. No problem. There's no soapiness, and it's a true fresh melon flavor that it brings. That's then complemented with a bit of papaya. So TPA papaya at 1.5%. This papaya is one of my favorite fruits because it's not a traditional sweet fruit. So it's got this very interesting because it's got sweet, it's got bitter, and it's got almost a smooth mouthfeel. So it brings a creaminess to the mix without its intention of doing so. Because of its inherent smoothness in its natural state, it brings that through beautifully. Then there's a bit of sweet mango, so 3% cap sweet mango. And I mean, that mango is one of the best around. So it's a nice, sweet, candied, very ripe, some people say overripe mango, but also used sparingly at 3%. So the 3% mango, the 3% cantaloupe, and then just a touch of the papaya blends very well together. I would personally up the papaya also to 3 to match it, or have them all at 2. So the melon at 2, papaya at 2, and sweet mango at 2, because they are 3 very strong and distinctive fruits, and they sometimes fight against each other. But here they work well. What is done is added a little bit of FA lemon Sicily, and that's the hint that he got from the description from the original maker. They use quite a bit of lemon Sicily in the recipes, and he added it here to cut through the sweetness and to add a little bit of zing to the recipe, and just enhance the 3 main flavors. To smooth everything out, a little bit of sweet cream, very low, so just 1% of Capella sweet cream. And that just blends everything and adds a nice mouthfeel to it. Fruits have the tendency to sometimes taste very linear and very flat without any texture in the mouth. So the sweet cream adds to the vape experience, just to make it a fuller experience. And then again, a bit of super sweet, so just a tad, 0.25 super sweet. I omitted it, I didn't use it. So this is, out of the 3 fruit mixes that I mixed, this is my favorite. This is a very well blended, very well thought out recipe. As I said earlier, I don't have a reference to the original, but this is a solid recipe. It is good for anybody that likes fruits that's a little bit different. So it's not a normal apple and strawberry. So the papaya is the main reason why it's kept it interesting. It adds the different element. It brings a little bit of the bitterness, and it works very well with the cantaloupe and the mango. It's sort of a classic combination. It's a real tropical combination, and pulled off here very, very well. There's nothing here that can be done to improve this recipe. It's very good, and it's a good homage, I would imagine, to the original. Solid vape, and I would definitely mix this again. So I'll give this a good 4.5 out of 5 with pleasure. The next one was the portly fungi. I don't quite get the why it's called that. There's no real relation. Portly means big or fat or plump. So I would imagine it's a big, fat, plump fruit salad. So it's basically a fruit salad. And he said that he made it for a buddy of his that loves fruit vapes, and he doesn't like cream and bakery flavors. So it's something that was mixed up for a friend. It's not something that he would personally vape. And it's a nice general fruit salad. The normal flavors that one would find in the normal fruit salad is all in here. So it starts off with a bit of dragon fruit, so 0.5% TPA dragon fruit, and that just brings that extra moistness to the overall vape, and just keeps it interesting so that it's not too linear. Fuji apple at 1% as the apple portion, and I would agree with the assessment with the other 2 recipes that you guys spoke about. The apple is lost here. You can't taste it. It's just dominated by the other fruits. And at 1%, you're not going to get much. Probably have to double that, at least to 2.5 to have any apple note. But I couldn't taste any apple. It would be interesting to perhaps try this with the new, the alternative or the new kid on the block that's giving Fuji apple a bit of a run for its money, which is the Purilim country apple. It's a brilliant apple, and as others have indicated, it's probably a whisker better than the Fuji apple. It brings a different dimension, and it's got some other elements which Fuji has now become, you're so used to it because all the good recipes contain it. But it's just more of the same. It's another Fuji apple, another Fuji apple. Every fruit mix with apple contains Fuji apple. So if it's not done purposefully, it just falls into the abyss here. So unfortunately, the Fuji apple is lost. So double that, or perhaps sub it with country apple. The other main players is peach, a bit of TPA juicy peach at 1.5%, and that's perfect. You don't want to overuse this peach because it can dominate very, very quickly. So it gives that nice, sweet, juicy peach flavor, which most mixers are familiar with. A bit of raspberry sweet, so TPA raspberry sweet at 0.5%. I also found it didn't really do anything in this recipe. It's too low. It is a very strong flavor, but at 0.5%, it was hardly noticeable. It could just as well have been left out or doubled to have any impact. But it's there. I mean, it works sort of with the lemon Sicily. So also 0.5% of lemon Sicily just to give that brightness to the fruit and cut through the sweetness and just make them pop. So those two together do a very good job in emulating that enhancement to the fruit. But I'm not sure if the raspberry sweet actually is necessary. If you leave it out, I don't think it will make any difference. And then the strawberry note comes from 2 strawberries, and it's interestingly chosen jungle flavor sweet strawberry. Together with TPA strawberry ripe, so very low, 1% of the strawberry ripe, which is very, very low for its traditional use, and 2% jungle flavor sweet strawberry. So together they create a very realistic strawberry vibe, and because all the other fruits are used so sparingly, the strawberry here dominates the overall flavor. So if you give this to somebody and tell them to have a drag, my view is they would taste 2 things. The one would be the strawberry, followed by the lemon note. The other fruits, and there's a little bit of peach at the end. The other flavors, as I said, falls away, and they don't really punch through enough. They're not used correctly to create a full fruit flavor. The problem with the fruit salad, as in real life, because it's a mixture of all fruits and all ripe fruits and fresh, and each has its own characteristic, they sometimes struggle in a fruit salad. So I prefer to keep complementary fruits together and limit them to 2, maybe 3. As soon as you add, here we've got dragon fruit, lemon, Sicily, Fuji apple, peach, raspberry, strawberry. So there's too many fruits here for any of them to be the hero. And here they unfortunately dominated by strawberry. But it's a good base if you want to add other elements to this. Perhaps a bit of WS23 would make this a nice interpretation of a fruit. Or else omit some of it. Perhaps a drop of Inawera cactus, just to bring an interesting element to it. But overall, also a solid fruit recipe. Strawberry heavy, but that is what it is. And then he's also, sorry, the last thing was a bit of sweetener, which I didn't put in. As it is very sweet with all the sweet ingredients in there. So I didn't do that. So enjoyable. The missus liked this one, so she'll finish the bottle. But nice. A few tweaks needed, but overall solid and no problem. And the last one I did was the wild melon boba, which is an interesting one. It also calls, like the others, all were 3 days steep. So I did it on 3 days. I think it may just need a couple of days more, especially this one, because it contains a Flavora cream. So I think it might improve with a little bit of age. So the base is very solid. So it's 0.25% Inawera cactus, 1.5 Flavora cream, and 2.5 Flavora wild melon. So wild melon is renowned as a fantastic melon flavor. It is very, very good. So it's a couple of melons that's mixed together, and you can't really distinguish which melon is the actual melon that they use. Which one are they going for? So here, and then quite a bit of cotton candy. So 1% cotton candy, and I went against my mixing beliefs, and I added the cotton candy, hoping that it would not be as sweet as regular sweetener. And it's a good recipe. I found a bit of off notes in terms of a slight cinnamon flavor. So I went back to the individual flavors, and I couldn't find what brought me the cinnamon note. So individually, none of the flavors had a cinnamon note to it, but combined, strangely, it created a slight cinnamon, almost a Flavora cinnamon flavor, the Flavora rich cinnamon. So they had a funny taste to it. I think this one requires another day or two. The wild melon, very good with the cream. So it's a brilliant base, nicely done. But I'd rather give it another couple of days just for the cream to work its magic and the melon to calm down a little bit. But a nice base to work from. Good.
Okay, so I also did a milk or milky creamy thing. I did my milk, and in here he has 2% TPA cheesecake graham crust, 2% FLV cream, 1% dragon fruit, 1% FA meringue, 4% TPA strawberry, and 4% caps sweet strawberry. Now, these are all concentrates that I really enjoy and am a fan of. So I generally like this recipe. It is a good milk for me. I do prefer. I did taste it before the recommended steep day, which is 7 days, and it's quite interesting. It's very separated for the first few days, obviously, because of the creams that need to steep in and that meringue to do its magic. So from about day 7, I would say that's where it really starts filling in and giving the profile and that thickness that you want, or that rounding of the milk. The one thing I personally feel with the strawberry, I enjoyed it more on the 3rd and 4th day. So basically earlier in the steep, I enjoyed the strawberry profile more. It was working with the dragon fruit a lot more, giving you a vibrant strawberry, not a dominating strawberry, not a soft strawberry. It was just a really vibrant strawberry, which in his description, he says both strawberries and dragon fruit deliver a bright, rich strawberry that leave even the ones who can't taste strawberry wanting more. Now, it is definitely a good strawberry base, but personally, I like to work with multiple strawberries, as he does here. But when it comes to TBA strawberry and cap strawberry, I feel both of them together does not work as well as one of them does with strawberry ripe. So either TPA strawberry with strawberry ripe if you're looking for more natural fruit strawberry, and if you're looking for something sweeter, then strawberry ripe and sweet strawberry. I personally use all three with the additional a 4th strawberry as well. So the strawberry for me started to turn a little bit soft on the recommended steep day. It's still strawberry prominent. It is definitely a strawberry milk by the 7th day. And when the creams fill out nicely, I feel the graham cracker, the cheesecake, also kind of matures. So you get a thicker type of graham biscuit in there, with the creams also filling in that mouthfeel. It's just the strawberry, for me, drops back a little bit too much. And I think it's because of the combination of strawberry. I mean, you can possibly either add in strawberry ripe or maybe strawberry shisha. If you were to drop sweet strawberry out, then you could work with TFA strawberry and strawberry shisha. It is a bit strong and it gives you a more dense strawberry note that I think would stand up a bit better to a steep. So that's why I would rather say strawberry shisha instead of strawberry ripe, because strawberry ripe definitely fades a lot quicker with with the steep. So that's probably why I use strawberry, TPA strawberry in combination with sweet strawberry and strawberry ripe. That's if I'm not using strawberry shisha. The way the three work together, one gives you that burst of a visible strawberry, and the rest basically rounds the profile off and helps it to stand up to a steep, especially when it comes to creams like FLV cream, which is a delicious cream and does very well, but it also emulsifies, and I think that's also what's kind of toning down that strawberry in the end. It's not really toned down to the point where I say it's muted or lost. It's just soft. It's a bit of a soft and squishy type of not strawberry. It's just a little bit too soft in the end. It's difficult to explain it in my preference. I like strawberries a lot. I mean, I'm sitting with about 14 at the moment, so I definitely like my strawberries. All in all, a good milk. Agree with the recommended steep date, 7 days. Obviously, the longer the better. I'm on day 7 today, and I've basically been vaping this all day with me. So it's a good milk on the end. I have to say, I am a huge fan of Mother of God's milk. So any other milk is difficult for me to take that spot, that show of my favorite milk. It's just that Mother of God's milk has that strawberry that lasts for me because of the dragon milk. So all in all, good milk, very nice. Thanks.
Cool, man. So yeah, we're pretty much coming up to the end of the show. So RdaJunkie, one massive fist pump from me, and then Rudy also 4.5 over there, which is
on the milk.
Yeah, another one.
Got one for the milk. Thanks for the milk.
So brilliant, man. I get the idea here, and myself and Rudy were speaking about this earlier, that RdaJunkie is, he's being inspired by things around him, and, creating juices or recipes, to mimic that, what he's inspired by. 1 or 2 recipes here is stuff that potentially just mixing up for a friend and putting that recipe or recipes now available for us over here to mix up. So I really like that. There's a bunch of recipes, and so I'll go to his work here on ATF, and if you go to his profile, I'm going to just filter on what is the most popular recipes. So raspberry cheesecake, that's right on top. Then his second is the factory blue, which is a blueberry cheesecake, and then a straight up blueberry cheesecake. That's number 1, 2, and 3. And then of course at number 4, he got it's my milk, that the Dietzenstein mixed up. So yeah, props for putting this out for us to mix up. Now, RdaJunkie, I did chat with him in the week. Unfortunately, of course, he's away this week, so he couldn't make the show. But he really just wanted to thank everybody that is here, and also thank everybody that mixed up his juices, and everybody pretty much for putting the show together. So yeah. Thank you so much for that, guys. Do you want to add anything else?
Thank you for the mixes.
Yeah, no, good. So I've got some new fruit inspiration, so we can have a peaceful December with not just the tobaccos and custards. Can add some fruit to my variety.
So, a new thing. I'm just going to go around the room, and everybody can just, shout out where they can find your details or your recipes. So on ATF, you can find the recipes that I've put out there under the thefogvlog. If you want to send an email to the show, you can do that by sending an email to thefogvlog at gmail.com. I will get that, but if you want to say anything to anybody else, I'll happily forward that on to them if that's the email that you want to use. So yeah, Rudy?
Well, you can catch my profile on all the flavors, also on ATF. My mix name is Rudy, so simple RUDI. And my stuff is posted there. I've got some weird and wonderful stuff, a little bit off center, but it's the profiles that I like.
I'm also on ATF, Deets, with 2 Z's at the end, because I could not recover my old account. So I've also got a few recipes up there. This is stuff that I mixed for me and my preference, which is absolutely crazy. If you look at my jelly bomb recipe, definitely my type of mixes. Some would say sledgehammer in your face type of mix. That's just one of them. I've also got tobaccos and some other stuff there, and I'm working on a few others too. So ATF and on YouTube under the Fogvlog and Deets.
Cool. Guys, thank you very much for watching the show. Thanks for everybody that's been in chat. Richard, unfortunately, is struggling with his ISP. So he's going through hell at the moment. So he apologized that he couldn't be here. You know, Rudy jumped in. And, you know, for those who don't know, we're really grateful to have Rudy here because, of course, he's got his own juice line out, which is Vape Fuel. You can see the logo in the back there of his window. I've also put a link in the description below if you want to go and see what juice line he has out. So yeah, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.